Veterans Day. It's a good time of year to talk about the serious problem of post-traumatic stress disorder that impacts so many of our veterans. I'm joined now by Julian Ford, a clinical psychologist at the UConn Health Center. Thank you so much for coming in.
Glad to be here.
I think a lot of people are used to hearing the term. They may not really know what PTSD is. Can you explain?
Absolutely. It's post-traumatic stress disorder. It's a condition that happens when any of us, any age, any individual is confronted with a life-threatening challenge. When they witness death, when they could die themselves, even if they don't, even if no one dies, or if their bodily integrity is violated, and that's when we're talking about sexual trauma. The result is that the individual, it's actually a change in the brain and the body. It's not something that you think about or that you do on purpose. The brain and the body shift into survival mode. And that's perfectly natural when your life is threatened or when someone else's life is threatened. The problem with post-traumatic stress disorder is that shift into an alarm state or a survival state. We don't know how to turn it off.
Well, that's just it. I was going to say military personnel returning, they've certainly seen, all of our worst nightmare and had to deal with things that, how do you possibly train for the mental, effects that you're going to feel? They come back and it's like, okay, now re-assimilate into society and PTSD is alive and well, and what do they do?
Well, there's the double problem, Carrie Lee. On the one hand, there is no training that fully prepares any individual for what they witness in combat or in war. On the other hand, coming back is just as stressful for many as being in the war zone because you're all ready for the trauma, but it's not there.
Right.
And your brain and your body are acting as if you're still under life-threatening conditions. So what we found is that it's essential for people who come back from this kind of war zone or combat or military trauma to be able to actually learn how to reset the alarm in their brain.
And so that's the question. What treatment is available? What can you do to help reset that?
Well, there are some very good treatments that actually help people to go back and explore and really walk through memories that are particularly troubling to them. However, not everybody wants to do that. And not everybody is ready to do that.
Right.
Yes, when it's done, it can be highly effective. What we've also found is that you don't have to go back to the memories necessarily. You can deal with the emotional shock and with the survival reaction in your life today. And by doing that, we talk about working on emotion regulation, where you literally learn how to reset that alarm in your brain, not using medication, not using no physical interventions at all, just by talking, and you literally learn ways to be able to actually shift your whole body back into that normal state where you're not constantly hypervigilant waiting for the next terrible thing to happen.
All right, very encouraging for folks who are dealing with this for whatever reason to know that help is available, treatment is available.
Absolutely.
And actually, you're asking people to be part of a study or a clinical study or a trial that you're going to be doing?
Yes, we're actually doing a study right now with men who have been deployed to Afghanistan or Iraq in the past 10 years, and those who are experiencing post-traumatic stress difficulties and problems with anger, which often go hand in hand. And what we're doing is we're actually comparing the memory-based treatment with this emotion regulation treatment. So we're actually providing two different treatments. It's a flip of a coin which treatment you get because this is a research study. But either one of these treatments, so far what we're finding, the response has been very positive to both. People really find that they're able to shift out of the survival state that post-traumatic stress disorder causes and back into normal daily life.
Well, that is extremely encouraging.
Yes.
We all can't imagine if we haven't been there what they're going through and the prison that their mind sort of has them locked in. So good to know that there's help available. Let's get people involved in the study. If you want more information on the PTSD study, potential participants can call UConn Health Center at 860-679-2587. Thanks so much for coming in this morning. Very interesting. Really appreciate it. All right.